This is a closeout presentation for the Proposal Media Content, which was a Fund 6 proposal in the challenge Improve and Grow Auditability. The proposal received $13,700, which at the time was 9,224 ADA. In terms of the proposal deliverables, the purpose of this proposal was to make it easier to view all of the media content that was attached to a proposal, which could be attached during the funding process or during execution. The deliverables focused on developing a media linking form to add media content, presenting that media content on a proposals page, taking existing data from IdeaScale and presenting that media on the proposal pages, and also enabling proposers to add media content at any point in time and to make this data open source and available in a code repository. In terms of the issues in changing environment, this proposal needed access to the proposal media content that got submitted in the funding process. At the time, no Catalyst API was available to give us that data. We also had no write access to this data source, so adding more media content would mean we are creating an entirely new data source. These are some of the reasons we decided to pause the execution efforts for this proposal. Another reason it made sense to pause our execution efforts was due to existing community efforts. Lido Nation had already manually scraped much of the IdeaScale data and made their own Catalyst Explorer. This website reduced the potential impact of our original proposal, as we would be duplicating most of this work with minor changes. Moving forward towards the Fund 10 timeframe, the Catalyst team announced an official Catalyst website, which would soon be the new home for the funding process. This website would host all of the proposals, information, and updates. Due to this, it makes little sense for us to duplicate this website, which is now going to be an official solution for the funding process. Leading up to these ecosystem changes, we had already been working on funding categorization analysis. These efforts helped to lead to impactful changes being made to the Catalyst process. It became much more clear to us that supporting the Catalyst team with analytical resources and supporting efforts could be far more impactful than creating separate and unnecessary solutions that aren't well integrated into the funding process. Due to these factors, this proposal was pivoted to help with more analysis efforts with the Web3 Association. The proposal outcomes from our pivoted execution efforts focused on making educational resources about treasury systems and disbursement. These images help to highlight some of the analysis that we completed between November 2023 and March 2024. You can find all of this analysis at treasuries.co. This proposal was one of 3 that helped us to fund these contribution efforts, and this proposal supported 5.5 weeks worth of that effort. One of the key suggestions that emerged from this analysis was a proposal outlining the opportunity to experiment with an open source contributor funding process. This is a funding process that has a ton of long-term potential, and we've been actively sharing this with the proposal with the community and the Catalyst team. The project has a number of KPIs that it wanted to address. These included increasing the number of people viewing proposals and increasing the amount of proposal information coverage. Suggestions that emerge from our educational resources can help to address these KPIs. One suggestion that came out of the disbursement analysis was that using independent submission processes could be far more beneficial to an ecosystem's disbursement process. Enabling ideas to be more persistent and submitted at any time could help with addressing the KPIs that were originally planned. So for increasing the number of people viewing proposals, if ideas are persistent and can be submitted at any time, the opportunity for community to view and understand these ideas can increase. Community members would have more time to think about these ideas and provide their feedback when they are ready to do so. And then for increasing the amount of proposal information coverage, if ideas are persistent and can be more updated and evolve over time, the opportunities for ideas to be more fully covered with the relevant information should also increase. This reduces the burden on the proposer from needing to have all of the information about an idea ready at the point of submission. In terms of learnings, a key learning that has been relevant to many of our proposals is the importance of contribution flexibility. We paused our execution efforts for this proposal when it made sense to do so. After that, we then pivoted our contribution efforts towards other areas when it was also clear that the original plan was not going to generate much impact. Being flexible means contributors can respond to a changing environment and what actually happens. This makes it easier for us to then align ourselves with efforts that have a better probability of making high impact. And then finally, another learning we made is around the importance of discussion and experimentation. Our analytical efforts and suggestions provide a great starting point to explore promising solutions and funding approaches. However, if these suggestions are going to make any impact, they need to be discussed and experimented with in the community. We've been sharing our analysis and suggestions in the community and to the Catalyst team to try and initiate these discussions and experiments. There are no future plans in terms of the original intentions of this project. The Web3 association was a natural evolution after the success of our previous funding categories analysis. The Web3 association is focused on education resources and experiments that can help to improve treasury systems across the industry. In terms of links, there's an IdeaScale data scraper script that we made in a previous proposal that could have been relevant for this proposal if it was executed as originally intended. Then in terms of the pivoted Web3 association efforts, the links are all detailed there below. You can also review our contribution logs that we submit every month that highlight what we've been working on. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening.